Welcome back to Society Case Files. My name is Robert, and today I'm going to talk about Season 2 of Wednesday. If you like this kind of content and you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Otherwise, I'm going to dive right in. So I finally had the opportunity to finish the second season of Wednesday because, as you guys probably know, Netflix decided to break it up into two parts. I'm not entirely sure why they did it. And just to briefly touch on that, I thought it was kind of ridiculous. Because if you looked at when it dropped and when the second part dropped, if you wanted to see it for 1 month's service, you could have started right when it became available and you'd still have service when the second one dropped. You could just binge the last 4 and then cancel if you really wanted to. So I don't really see what they gained from breaking it up other than the fact that they were annoying. I mean, half the fun of Netflix is being able to binge the stuff on the first day, but whatever. I guess they had some kind of plan. I don't know what it could have been outside of a financial motivation, but if you have any ideas, please let me know in the comments. Maybe it was just to prolong the enjoyment or something, because they do take so long to release shows. And on that tangent, I heard that the length that it takes for them to put out a second season for some of their shows is something that people are kind of referring to as like a quiet cancellation, like FUBAR Season 2. People didn't even know it was coming, apparently, and it didn't do very well, probably because people thought, I thought that show was over. But anyway, all that aside and away from that tangent, my apologies for going on about Netflix for a moment, but Season 2 Wednesday. I loved the first 4 episodes. There were only a few things that I found kind of iffy, if you want to call it that. Stuff that I was just like, this isn't exactly to my taste. And that was primarily in the first episode. As they moved into the next 3, I got a lot more engaged. And by the second half, I was fully engaged. I loved it. I thought it was really good. I can nitpick the show. There's a lot of things in there that you could probably poke at and talk about. I think that in many ways, it was too short. And it's funny I say that because I often am like, man, I do not need a show to be 26 freaking episodes long. And this certainly didn't need that either. But I think that 8 episodes may not have been enough. There's a lot of concepts that just get sort of swept under the rug or resolved too quickly or seem to be forgotten. And I thought that was kind of rough because this show deserved to fully develop its ideas. There are plenty of opportunities where we could see things happen in a much greater way. For example, characters that just sort of show up for a moment and then are gone. In some ways, it feels like they're trying to set up for a 3rd season, which apparently it has been renewed for already, despite what some of the people in the show have said. But by the end, it feels more like a cliffhanger has been established than a complete story arc. And yeah, some stuff gets concluded fairly well, but there are a lot of things that are left open-ended and even up to your interpretation. Which, I mean, that's fine for the most part, but I kind of reserve that sort of thing for more artistic movies, things that you'd see in an art house place, or even something from Christopher Nolan. Not necessarily a TV show on Netflix, especially something like Wednesday, where I sort of have this expectation where they're going to wrap up all of their plot points and not leave a bunch of stuff sort of unfinished or whatever you want to call it. What can you really do? They gave us 8 episodes, and in some ways they built concepts that were beyond an 8-hour arc. I'd say that this one probably should have been 12 episodes. I think 12 episodes would have neatly managed everything. A great example is there's a side plot in the second season that involves a character who you've seen photographs of them, but then you finally get to meet that character. They do a quick flashback, wrap everything up in a single episode. It's like that probably deserved a lot more time to develop. It's sort of like what happened was the writer was going through and they thought, this is a great idea at the beginning. And then as they went along, they found other ideas they liked more. And so they dedicated more of their time to those. And then somewhere around the 2/3 length, they're like, crap, I completely forgot about what I started way back here. And I've got to wrap that up somehow, but I don't really care about it anymore. And so it's just done. I'm not a big fan of that. And I think it was pretty obvious that that's sort of what happened to a few of these plot points. That said, I think that all of the characters who are in it got a lot more time and they got to shine a lot more. You see more of the Addams family rather than just Wednesday. So you get more Pugsley, you get their parents. That was pretty cool. Don't get as much Fester as I would like. He was awesome. He's always awesome. But I think that the people we did get received a fair amount of shine time. And what I mean by shine time is that they got to actually do something that made their character great, and it was highlighted within the show. All around, I would absolutely say that Wednesday is something that anybody should be able to watch. There's nothing particularly disgusting about it. It's pretty light as far as the horror is concerned. It's not like it's ever going to be particularly scary. Most of the quips are pretty funny. I think that all around they did a good job. There are some complaints that I read about where people said that the second half of the season sort of lost focus. I didn't really see that. I even went in watching it thinking about some of these reviews that I saw, and I didn't see what they did. So I'm not sure why they felt that way. I can't really explain it. I can't offer any sort of insight about that because I felt like it was pretty tight. In fact, again, I'd say that if anything, it wasn't so much chaotic as it was too laser focused on getting to the point. I felt like we could have padded some things. And when I say padded, I mean expanded the parts, the writing specifically. As far as like overall performances, I thought everyone was really good. Another thing I saw was that someone said that there wasn't much diversity in the show. And I'd love to hear what you think about that. If you've watched the show, let me know. I thought that there was a pretty broad range of representation, but you know, maybe I'm not watching the right way. Please let me know in the comments if you feel otherwise. Because all around, I think that they really did try to make Wednesday an accessible show for just about anyone. There's like nothing offensive about it per se. I mean, there's some gross food here and there, but it's not like insane. It's no worse than the stuff that happened in the original show way back when. So all around, I don't know. I think it's pretty youth friendly. I enjoyed it as an old bastard. I don't know. I mean, there's not much more to say without going into some pretty specific spoilers. And again, it would require nitpicking to give the show a hard time beyond thinking it needed to be longer, which honestly, you know, saying a show should be longer is kind of cool because it means you wanted more. And I did want more. And I am looking forward to a third season. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Is this a show you'd recommend to other people? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I'd personally recommend it to just about anyone. Anyway, let me know in the comments. This is Robert with Society Case Files, signing off.